Hey guys, gonna wing another one here. Oh man, a lot to cover on this one. This is something you don't see every day. I pulled up the geospace, the University of Michigan geospace model. Only give you about a 3.5 hour run. It's on a government website, SWPC. Here we got pressure, solar wind pressure, and I'm assuming that this stuff's being recorded by Ace or Discover satellites. Maybe not. Maybe we got maybe it's being recorded by the ISWA geosynchronous GOES satellites. You know what? I'm not sure about that. But anyway, looks like we've achieved some kind of an equalization between the pressures. And if you've watched the last couple vids when I featured this model, pressure was real high out here, indicated in the red, and real high back here and all around the planet, actually indicated in red. And now, as you can see, it's all pretty light. It's down and almost reached zero. So that's pretty telling. Some kind of an equalization has occurred. You can see on here, this shows density being buffeted by wave after wave after wave. And this run starts at around 10 UTC and then ends around 1340, 1010 and 1340, I believe. So take 5 off of that. So 5 Eastern Daylight Time to 8:40 Eastern Daylight Time. So you can see the densities there. I got to try to speed this up. And then here's the velocity. You can see that's coming in waves too. So I pulled up ACE, and this is the last 6 hour run. And so you can see here that you can see the fluctuations in the density and the solar wind speed. This is only in 20 mile per hour, kilometers per second increments. And the density is pretty low. Here the phi angle, you can see, like I told you before, and I'll put the links, the 0 degree phi angle would indicate a Earth to Sun connection. 180-degree phi angle indicates a Sun to Earth connection. So anything above 180 is reflecting a connection between either our Earth to another solar body behind us, or the solar body behind us connecting to Earth. And as you can see here, a lot of destabilization, instability in the interplanetary magnetic field, as we're connected up here to Nemesis and down here back to Earth to Sun. And I'm thinking, guys, is based upon that equalization I just showed you on the pressure and these interplanetary magnetic field connections between Earth and Nemesis and the Sun, that we're pretty much caught squarely in between, and it looks like Nemesis is connecting through the Earth, maybe to the Sun, and then the Earth back to the Sun. So we got a Earth to Nemesis connection, back to Earth through the Sun, or vice versa, which isn't good, I'm sure. And this is kind of reflected in some of these. Here's the ISWA run, last 300 frames. So you can see normally this magnetopause is out around 10 Earth radii. These are Earth radii, which is about 3,959 miles. per segment here. So it's beyond the 10. It's out of around 11. Yeah, around 11. So you can see it's getting buffeted around. And I showed you that solar wind speed and density, which would not account for all this buffeting. Look how it's got pushed way down to, well, 9. So it got bumped at least 2 Earth radii, maybe 3, as you can see me pull this through. And there it got really ballooned out around 650. And this, wow, look at this. This thing's crazy. Look at all the jumbled interplanetary magnetic field lines. I mean, well, as I showed you on the phi angle, there's some definite serious instability going on around the planet. And I ran through this, and I've looked at it for a while to try to figure out how to present all this information to you. Look at all that. That's crazy. It's just being blasted. Blasted. That's at 842. Let's see what it looks like on here at 842. You can click it back like this. You see it's all crumpled. And then here's the solar wind speed. It went up like as high as 800 something a couple times on when I was pulling this thing through. I think it did. Yeah, there's the 7s. There's an 8. So this is at 842 here. Let's see what it looks like. So there you go. I mean, watch these arrows. This indicates solar wind speed direction. So we definitely got something behind here pushing on the planet, as you can see. And look at all this solar wind coming up around here from the backside. That's around 946. So that's what I'm talking about with this equalized pressure. So we get all that solar wind pressing in from behind, meeting the solar wind pressing in from the sun, and we're getting this sort of like a pressure equilibrium here, which is crazy. Here, check this out. This is kind of monumental, actually, since I've been doing these videos. When I came back, my channel came back online in January, and I've been pulling up this ACE data. Here's the last 24-hour run, and we have no gaps. Hello? No gaps. So it wasn't a battery issue, which I was surmising from comparing the ACE gap to the Discover real-time gap, thinking that it's a newer satellite. Maybe the battery life's better. It doesn't need to be recharged for as long a period. And you can see here, no gaps on the Discover either. So, and then look at all these density fluctuations. I mean, that's crazy. Solar wind density. It's not really reflected with the solar wind speed. And there, of course, is all the phi angle above 180 connections with Nemesis. So I think maybe we've reached a seminal moment, and whatever was blocking the data collection coming to the ACE and Discover satellites has passed their scope of view, which means it's inside of this L1 Lagrange point, which is 930,000 miles in front of the Earth, between the Earth and the Sun. And of course, this isn't a to scale representation. So, whatever was blocking that 8-hour period of data collection on ACE and maybe a 4-hour period on Discover here at the L1 Lagrange point, it's not there anymore. So it's moved on, and I would say it's moved on toward the Earth Otherwise, we'd still be picking up some kind of, unless it's moved off to the side somewhere. Now that's possible too. But I don't know. So I'll put these links below the video. And then there's the solar ham tutorial. Tells you about the Lagrange point. You click on that, you get what I just showed you. This tells you about the phi angle, plasma density, temperature, solar wind, IMF, etc. And actually this is, well, we'll go back to here. So I mean, let's sync these up. I can let you play them. I can play them through for you. Let you watch these things while I talk, I guess. I mean, they're roughly synced. I'll get them synced up for you. So, 2022. Alright, those two are synced. This one's pretty well synced. So you can watch the solar wind speed, watch these arrows. It said this is the Earth radii. It's about 4,000 miles per increment. You can see the closed field lines, the polar cap black ones. They're extending out. They normally funnel the solar wind from the sun away from the planet. And look, there was a big blast, which isn't really reflected on the ACE data. That was around 9 something. So let's go back in and look at ACE around 9. I mean, or 8. Solar wind speed. Let's go back to do 2 hours. 2 hours, yeah. Here's the last 2 hours. Of course, this is running, well, never mind. But you can see the phi angle's all screwed up. The wind speed's all fluctuating within 40 miles, 60 miles, up and down. The density's going up and down. These full radiation electron belts, I haven't really seen anything too crazy going on with them. I tried to pull up MLSO. There's the calendar. And these two run last 2 days. They're not giving us anything there. Like I showed you, they sanitized that one on the 14th. But they didn't take the flash out of the one on the 13th yet. There's still some type of flash around the midnight hour, which corresponded to the splash of red that came onto the Folk radiation belt on the 13th around the midnight hour, which I covered in a video. So I don't know. I mean, we've reached some type of an equilibrium, at least for the last 3 hours. Look at all the different IMF field lines in blue. There should only be about 9. 9 planets, 1 sun, 9 connections. We've got way more than 9. If you notice, when this thing bows out, I think there's something up here maybe. But what's giving us these big fluctuations? Maybe it's because the magnetosphere is weak. That's why it's showing such a compression when something hits it, because the A stat is not showing that we're getting that strong of a solar wind push. It's only fluctuating between 0 and 60. Anyway, I'm running out of time. God bless and peace, and I'm out.